Goodbye. What's the outro again? Sorry, I needed the intro. That's my bad. Welcome to the Stick and Ball. Welcome to the Stick and Ball Symposium. I'm me, and he's the other guy.
I'm Ellis.
I thought you were Dave.
No, I'm Ellis now.
Oh, okay. So then that makes me Dave.
No, you're Justin.
That follows, actually. That makes sense.
And now I'm Justin, you're Dave, and I'm Ellis now. There's now 3 people in this podcast. Pull up a chair for Dave, please.
There's no more chairs. I'm not even sitting on a chair.
Oh, yeah. You were sitting on a bed.
Welcome. Hello. Today is a fun one because it's the NFL offseason, which means the most important thing to talk about is the GOAT debate. And by GOAT debate, I mean the quarterback GOAT debate.
No, you're saying it all wrong. You mean the shortstop, the GOAT shortstop debate. That's what you wanted to say. We are avid MLB enjoyers.
No, we're not talking about that.
We know all things MLB.
We're talking about NFL quarterbacks.
Hey, you say something over
there? No.
Okay. So as I was saying, the GOAT quarterback debate, as I brought up, I was foolishly said...
Name a single MLB shortstop.
Chip Lambeau.
I can't verify that you're wrong, so... I mean, I can technically look it up, but I'm not gonna do that. So
if you guys need reference, I looked at a thing of Chips Ahoy. That's where I got Chip, and I have a picture of Lambeau Field.
That'd funny if you would have said like it's like hamster PlayStation. At least you said an actual name.
My favorite MLB shortstop PlayStation controller televisions.
Quick tangent before we really get started. I was just watching, I was following along with this bracket of voting for the GOAT of all sports or whatever. And then everybody was talking about like Brady moving on or something, but they also put Jerry Rice in there. And I want to point out that it's my opinion, but like Jerry Rice is easily the NFL GOAT. He's like the greatest player of all time. This is the quarterback GOAT debate, which is a different. It's a different thing than NFL player because I don't think any quarterback is all time greater than Jerry Rice, but that's just my opinion.
Besides Chad Kelly, of course, and T.J. Yates is also up there.
T.J. Yates is my idol, and Chad Kelly is who I respect as probably the greatest athlete to ever live.
Yeah, if you see in the top left here, we have Chad Kelly.
All right, that's the stupid photo.
In the top right, we have Chad Kelly. In the bottom left, we have Chad Kelly. In the bottom right, we have T.J. Yates.
This is the whole GOAT debate right here. Chad Kelly.
Chad Kelly, it's 3 entries.
The top 4 is Chad Kelly, T.J. Yates. Any order.
We're going to be doing... What was it? Top 10 GOAT quarterbacks,
yeah,
top 5 B.O.A.T quarterbacks, best of all time.
Well, yeah, excluding Blake Bortles.
Yeah,
because he's the BOAT. No, but I was just thinking like we could give around a top 10 for the greatest, just so we could talk about a wide range of QBs, and then like top 5 best, like most talented, because that's a very different list. And I'm really interested to get your thoughts. I hope you're interested to get my thoughts, and then I think it'll make it a pretty compelling discussion. So
yeah, I can take it or leave it.
Cool. All right. So I guess so we can get out of the way early. For most people, the consensus GOAT is Tom Brady, and it's been that way for a couple of years now. I know there are Brady haters who say that he's not the GOAT. There are Brady fanboys who say that he is and will never be surpassed and is by far and all that stuff. He's definitely not at all the most talented.
Not even close.
Not at all even close. He was always really boring to watch. His like dinking and dunking style of play, which it was effective, but it was boring. the biggest compliment I can give Brady is that he's probably the most clutch quarterback I've ever seen, because it didn't matter whatever the circumstance was, it always felt like he would show up in the fourth quarter, especially in the playoffs. And he did it year after year, even going into his final season. Not in the playoffs, but and obviously longevity is a big thing. His counting numbers are absolutely exceptional, and they may never be surpassed now because he played for so damn long. With the 23 seasons, I can't even. I don't even want to.
It's completely absurd. Just the longevity of his career is insane. I mean, it really helps when you're protected for literally the bigger portion of your career, but
right. That's
whatever.
True. I mean,
anyways,
and like, obviously he was in a great system, and he had a great coach. And all that stuff, that is true, but I mean, without a good quarterback, you can't really have a dynasty like the Patriots did.
Yeah. And
you have to respect. I mean, you just have to respect the way that. I mean, he's also extremely lucky. I mean, he changed like 4 plays, and his whole career is different. There's the tuck rule. There's if the Seahawks run the ball on the goal line. There's if the Falcons literally make one less mistake in the Super Bowl, they win that game. Like, there's so many things that if you change, Brady has like 3 less rings. You know what I mean? And also if the Mannings didn't exist, he probably has like 3 more rings. So who knows?
Anyways, today's episode is brought to you by TB12, Tom Brady's apparel clothing line. We are the biggest Brady supporters. We would never say anything harsh to
that lucky man. Is
any small little microscopic chance we have had to get sponsored by TV12 at any point in any of our careers gone now.
Hey, I still think he's the GOAT. I'm just pointing out.
He's lucky. He's a little crybaby. He's a little bitch. He deserves to. I'm just kidding.
Hey, in the heat of the game, a lot of people are crybabies.
He deserves to be divorced. Wait, no. He deserves to.
That's a separate thing. That is a separate discussion. You know, I have Brady at 1. It's just inevitable.
Yeah.
7 Super Bowl rings. I mean,
he is Iron Man.
He has more rings than any team has rings. It's just absurd. He's Iron Man.
We are inevitable.
He's one Thanos. He collected all the Infinity Stones, Infinity Rings, whatever you want to call it.
Who's Iron Man? Eli Manning.
Probably, yeah. But he's, in my opinion, the second best TB12 after Terry Bradshaw. I'm kidding, he's number 1. It gets a lot more interesting when you move down the list. I wonder, who do you have at number 2?
Number 2 as the GOAT?
Yeah, the second greatest quarterback of all time.
Oh, God.
For me, it's a close call between 2 people.
Come back to me. I need to do some quick little research that I should have done already.
Okay, I've done a lot of research into this. I've devised a lot of different lists. I've thought about it a lot. When it comes down to it, there are 2 guys that really cement themselves as like in that top 2 category, and there's 2 for 2 different reasons. The first one, and probably the more obvious, is Joe Montana, who for a lot of people was the GOAT for a long time until Brady came along.
Yeah, for my research, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Joe Montana is who take it. I was literally like, My research is literally greatest quarterback of all time.
I'm gonna have to go with Joe Montana. 4 Super Bowl rings. I mean, arguably the best quarterback playoff performer of all time, and definitely the greatest Super Bowl quarterback of all time. He went supernova every time he was in the big game. He played absolutely incredible. There are a lot of knocks against him. Some of them are based on his era, like he never threw for over 4,000 yards in a season. Which, you know, that's era. They didn't pass quite as much. and they didn't have the, like passing is obviously much more different now. He's not really up there in a lot of the all-time like counting stats because of that. I don't think he ever played a full season. I'm pretty sure I've read before. So he wasn't always the most available in the regular season, but he always showed up in the playoffs. Extremely clutch. I mean, everything that you'd want as far as a great quarterback goes, and it's there with Joe Montana. You know what I mean? Like he's got the flaws against it, but like for his time, he truly was. He was something spectacular. But the other guy is on the other end of the spectrum, and for me, it's Peyton Manning. And I'm a bit more biased towards him, obviously, because I got to watch him play, like in real time. His run with the Colts is one of the most impressive that any quarterback has ever had. He's only a 2-time champion, and one of his championships he definitely got carried to, because he was not good anymore. But he got his 2 rings, 2 different teams. The thing with Peyton is that you could argue that there's never been a player, like an individual player, that was more valuable to their team than Peyton Manning was during his Colts run. Because he's, a 5-time MVP? League MVP?
I don't know.
And you could argue that he got snubbed like 3 or 4 years in the 2000s. Like he was extremely valuable. He was the reason that they won a lot. And was he a playoff choker? He had some bad playoff games. He had some unlucky playoff games. That's just how it goes. But as far as his career, I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. And another thing that not many people talk about as much is that he had a basically career-ending injury, and then he came back, and he had one of the greatest seasons of all time, most prolific quarterback seasons of all time in 2013, where he broke the passing yards record and passing touchdowns record. And that's one of the most impressive feats that I've ever seen from a quarterback. I mean, that is just absolutely insane. But those are the guys that make up 2 and 3. Which one I have at 2? I'm a little bit more biased towards Peyton, so I guess I personally probably put Peyton 2 and Joe Montana 3. They both deserve to be that. I think that's like the top 3. I think that's pretty definitive in my opinion, of course. Now, after your intense research,
yes.
What about you? What do you think?
So I think I'm gonna go Tom Brady number 1, of course.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take, since it's just the GOAT debate and not the B.O.A.T debate, I'm gonna go with Joe Montana number 2, and then I'll take Peyton number 3. Number 4 is kind of where I'm lost because I can never remember how many Super Bowls whatever quarterback had. I don't know what's quarterback with a good number of Super Bowls.
Terry Bradshaw.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't know if that was actually if that was true or not.
Yeah, he won 4. A lot of guys that are about to be in mind did not win nearly as many as that. A lot of guys won like 2 or maybe not even really 3. I mean, Troy Aikman won 3, I think.
I'll go with Terry Bradshaw. I don't really have any reason for that. For my number 5, I'm gonna finish on mine because I only have 5 because I cannot stumble my way through another 5 after this. Fuck. Honestly, I'm gonna take one that I know that will be in the top 5 GOAT conversation by the end of his career, and that player that's going to be end his career in the top 5 GOAT conversation that I think personally is going to be Patrick Mahomes. Already has 2 Super Bowls, still has a hell of a career ahead of him. As much as I don't want him to have that, I feel like he's going to finish top 5 all time, if not higher.
I mean, 2 rings, 2-time MVP.
Yeah.
2-time Super Bowl MVP, even though you could argue he didn't deserve either, but
definitely didn't deserve the last one. I don't think anybody deserved Super Bowl MVP one.
I think they should have given it to James Bradbury.
If you could have given it to someone on the losing team, I think that Jalen Hurts deserved it more than Patrick Mahomes.
Well, Jalen Hurts was the best player on the field.
Yeah.
Probably by far. He had that one gaffe, that one mistake when he had that fumble. Other than that, he played a pretty perfect game.
Yeah.
In fact, he played a perfect game besides that, I think. So.
In the supposed best defense in the NFL couldn't literally do anything to stop the Chiefs' offense or force any turnovers. So that kind of doesn't really help when you can't get any interceptions or get to the quarterback at all. For literally, they didn't get a single sack that entire game.
I know, that's crazy. The Chiefs barely had sacks either. I think they had 2, but they were like the shove the quarterback out of bounds type sacks. They weren't like really sacks, you know what I mean? No, but Mahomes, I guarantee you, he's gonna be top 5 by the time he's done. He could maybe be in that top 3 discussion. That's just how it is. I mean, I don't. He's insane. He's so insane. His career is already insane. Now, I think you were just trying to avoid sounding biased. So now that I'm up to plate, I will say that at number 4, I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting somebody. 4, I would probably put Drew Brees. Brees. 5 is Aaron Rodgers. God, I want to throw up by saying that. 4 is Drew Brees. I think he's very underrated in that debate. If we're talking about greatness, he does have a great story. You know, he was an early-ish draft pick to the Chargers. Started his career very poorly. Chargers fans wanted him gone. He wasn't keeping his spot on the team. They end up getting Phillip Rivers, and they're ready to replace him. It's actually really cool because basically he had one more year, and it came down to this stuff. And then they were starting Brees, and they had Rivers ready. And Brees went out with an injury, but then he said he could go back into the game. And the coach basically told him he had one more drive before he got benched. And on that drive, he led a touchdown drive, and then he scored another touchdown. He won that game, and then from there, his career completely took off. He became a great player for the Chargers. But then he had an injury, ended up signing with the Saints, who took a chance on him, and then playing for what was a pretty bad Saints team for multiple years and carrying them. He won a Super Bowl. He put up some of the best counting stats we've ever seen. And then once his arm got a bit weaker and he got a bit older, he put up some of the best efficiency stats we've ever seen. And he translated his game in so many incredible ways. He also had great longevity. I just think he was an incredible quarterback. I think he deserves to be in the top 5. I mean, he only has the one Super Bowl, and like that's kind of against him.
He could have gotten another one if it wasn't for that stupid no PI call.
Yeah, that game against the Rams, which was so ridiculous. I mean,
that's gonna be talked about for ages, I think.
I mean, yeah, that was one of the worst missed calls ever. It's up there with the worst for sure. But then, yeah, that's where I would probably go with 4. And number 5 is Aaron Rodgers. He's really good. Number 6 is a close call between 2 again. But there's one big difference between the 2. That's that one is a Super Bowl champion and one is not. And that's because number 6 for me is Steve Young. Very underrated quarterback. It's kind of a knock against Joe Montana if you think about it, that as soon as he left and Steve Young stepped in, the 49ers offense was immediately better. I'm just saying. With Young in there. He was the second great running, scrambling quarterback after Frank Tarkenton, represent. School. He was another great playoff performer. At least for the most part. I think he had some rough playoffs later on in his career. He got to a slow start since he was a backup for the first 4 or 5 seasons of his career. He only made 1 Super Bowl. He won it. He also threw 6 touchdown passes in it, which is still a record. And he was just one of the most impressive players that we'd ever seen. He was one of the most efficient. He was probably the most efficient quarterback ever at the time when he was playing, in that time period, quarterback efficiency was like really hard to come by if you look back at a lot of stats. So, and I think that's very impressive. He's got some knocks against him, but I genuinely believe if he would have been able to play a full career and really, don't pour Prime on the microphone, please. Hashtag not sponsored. If he was able to play,
don't pour that unbranded.
Sports drink?
The unbranded hydration drink, as it says on this unbranded bottle right here. I don't know what hydration drink really means. I think every drink is hydration drink, but well, every like non-salt caffeinated drink.
Yeah. No, but if Steve Young was able to play an entire career in that 49er system, I think he could have been in the top 3, kind of on the same level as Montana. But obviously, as it happened, that isn't how it went. So that is important to know. And then at 7, I have Dan Marino, who never won a Super Bowl. He played in 1, I think. I don't think it was 2. I think he played in 1. And he played on some really bad Dolphins teams for a really long time. He put up incredible stats. And what's amazing about Marino is you go back and watch him, and he was a true gunslinger in the best possible way, because he did not care. Every pass he threw, he knew he could make, and he usually did. They were usually tight window throws. He was so fun to watch. If I was like actually alive and able to watch him in the 80s, like that would have been insane. Like I would have blew my mind. Like the way that he played quarterback was just so like fundamentally like insane. It was like fireworks at the position. It's crazy. And he played on some bad teams for a really long time, and I'd say he was more unlucky than a bad playoff performer. And he never was able to win that big game. But
yeah, you got Dan Marino making insane throws that you would never see, throwing it wherever he wanted, and then you have Brett Favre throwing wherever he wanted, and throwing a lot of interceptions doing so.
Yeah, see, I don't have Favre this high. I mean, he's in my top 10. Yeah, he's in my top 10. But if he is, he's 10. No, he might be 11. I don't know, because he was just too much of a, like, because the thing with Favre is that he was great, obviously. He had a good, like, 3, 4, 5 season stretch where he was, like, the best player in the league. Like, we saw all those video game covers where it was him, like, 5 years in a row, where every video game they put Brett Favre, he was, like, the face of the league. Which is so crazy that, like, a small town like Green Bay can have such an important sports franchise.
That's just mad. Fuck.
It's cool. I wish I didn't hate them, but he turned the ball over a lot. He got sacked a lot. I mean, he
scammed charity or scammed fucking cities a lot.
Yeah, he'll probably be in jail. I don't know.
Sued Pat McAfee once.
Messed up. Anybody who has beef with Pat McAfee has beef with me. All right.
Exactly.
I mean, like, come on. When it comes down to it, great longevity. He had a great Iron Man streak, but also he could have won a lot more if he could have just took care of the ball a little bit better.
Yeah.
Even just a little bit better. See, that's okay. I'll talk about Rodgers for a minute. Fine. The thing with Rodgers is that no quarterback, up until probably Mahomes, has ever combined that level of gunslinging power and great talent in throwing the ball with hyper efficiency as well. He shouldn't be allowed to do that. You can't do that. You can't just go on a field, throw every pass like make every single pass, but also every time you throw the ball, every time he throws the ball, I think it's going to be completed, and I'm like, there's no chance it gets intercepted. Obviously, it does sometimes, but it's just insane. Like, I don't know how he does it. I don't know why anybody doubted him. He's such a crazy talent. It's actually unreal, and he's done it for years. And his one Super Bowl. I mean, I hate Aaron Rodgers so much, but his one Super Bowl, it gets blown way out of proportions. He could have easily had a couple more if he had better defenses and better luck in the playoffs. And I genuinely think that. But
yeah.
I'm happy he doesn't. But I'm just saying.
It's just crazy. Like, I don't know who all has seen that graph. It was like Aaron Rodgers, like, in the playoffs. It was like defense let up 31, like defense letting up like huge numbers, and then, like, some of them are like Rodgers led a game-tying drive and never got the ball back.
Game-winning drive, never got ball back. It's like,
yeah, it's crazy, and fuck all the Packers fans that get mad at Rodgers, like, especially these last couple of years. He had 2 back-to-back MVP seasons. Yeah, one of them was it last year. That one is very highly debatable. You could give it to who was it? Was it Tom Brady that you could have gave it to?
Yeah, I probably would have given it to Brady over Rodgers, but
yeah, but like he has 2 back-to-back MVP seasons, and then he goes into a slump this year, and you're ready to throw him on on everything to get him out of here. And the Super Bowl just passed, and everybody's already upset with Rodgers for not having a decision yet. Like, there isn't still a whole offseason to go through. Like, it's just absurd.
Yeah, I hate Aaron Rodgers. But it's not personal. It's personal to me. Not, not like as a person. You know what I mean. Anyway, that's why he's at 5, and that's why Brett Favre is barely in my top 10. But Dan Marino, if he just had a little bit more playoff success, he could easily move up a lot higher in my list, because the numbers he put up at his time are just absolutely insane. Now, I feel like I might be blanking on somebody, because I remember John Elway and Brett Favre, but they were both lower in my top 10. And I'm trying to think if there's somebody I'm forgetting. I know the guys like Johnny Unitas are up there, who's never going to have great numbers, but he genuinely was the first true pioneer of the quarterback position, that I genuinely believe that. He was the first to really actually sling the rock in a way, and he did it very well for his time, like insanely well. And I understand why a lot of people consider him to be so great as well. I don't have guys like Ben Roethlisberger, who every time he did well, anytime the Steelers did well with Ben Roethlisberger was not playing well. The rest of the team was, but he was really never that great. And he's also a terrible person. Phillip Rivers, it's kind of a choker, never really had any success. Eli Manning, also was just very mid, except for like 2 playoff runs in his whole career. And people act like that's Hall of Fame worthy. Maybe it is with the 2 rings just because of how important they were, but at the same time, it's like, come on. A lot of those guys, I mean, I feel like, honestly, if Matt Ryan would have won that Super Bowl, he could have been up there, and if he didn't have a reputation as a choker, because he has incredible counting numbers. If he wins that Super Bowl, he probably has a longer stint with the Falcons, and the numbers he put up in a 10-year span are up there like in like the top 10, when other guys need like 15, 20 years to do that. So that is really impressive. But he's, kind of a choker.
I feel bad for Matt Ryan.
It's rough on Matty, guys. I guess I'll briefly just touch on John Elway. I've always considered him very overrated. But I will have to acknowledge that he was pretty great for his time. A lot of greats from that era swear by him, and Broncos fans idolize him. That's for sure. He was never very accurate, never very efficient, but he definitely tried so hard to get the job done for many years. I just wonder what would happen if he would have just, done what everybody else does and just played for the team that drafted him. It's just kind of a dick move to get drafted by a team and then be like, you know what? I will never play for this team. Trade me. It's like, come on, man. Also, Eli Manning.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, Peyton got drafted and he played for that team. I'm just saying. And then Terry Bradshaw is on the borderline of that as well. A lot of newer fans do the same thing. They look back at his numbers, see all of his interceptions, and like a lot of the way he played. But for his era, he had a rocket arm, and he truly was a stud. And he deserved to be on the Steelers team, and they won 4 Super Bowls with him. So, come on.
Where are we going?
He's probably up there too. But that's around where my list is at. The top 3 is pretty set in stone. Beyond that, it gets a lot tougher. I really feel like I'm blanking on somebody, but I don't know who it would be. Oh, Bob Greasy.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. I was just kidding.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize how late it was when we started doing this.
Kirk Cousins. Yeah. T.J. Yates.
Okay, well, I'm gonna disagree with both of those. I say we leave this one here, and then we come back for our next one. We do our top 10 B.O.A.T quarterbacks of all time, and then I will actually go through and look at everything and determine my top 10
Actually
list
study
so that
for
I can
a GOAT
actually
list, yeah, okay.
yeah.
That sounds good. It looks like this one was just my GOAT list with Justin's input.
Yes, sir.
Or Dave, whatever you are.
I'm actually Duck, television, Xbox 360.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Duck, television, Xbox 360. This was good. We'll come back next time. We'll discuss the most talented quarterbacks ever, maybe just some other positions too, and then we'll get Justin's more definitive GOAT list.
Yes.
So thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, or don't. You can also leave a like or a dislike. And you can also
no dislike.
You can also comment your thoughts about how great we were or how terrible. So thank you.
Or how just okay.
Whatever it is, the comment will be appreciated. So thank you so much. And Justin, what's the outro?
Play with your balls. Bye.